Hello and welcome to the last lesson of the jQuery Basics course of Race Karate. As always, don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I'm at @VastianValandia. We are also as at Race Karate. Follow us on Facebook and of course subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to see more of our courses. Okay, before continuing, go to the article of the video where you will find all the transcript and the codes snippets we are going to use. Great. This is the last lesson and we are going to perform our form with two parts. That was the J challenge of the previous lesson. So we are going to solve that challenge in this lesson. Basically, it was about disable the input button and also to validate the username input. Okay, so we want to disable this button if in case all the validations are not passing. So if they pass, then we can enable the button. How can we disable a button in HTML? We can just say, for example, disable true. So if I save and I reload the preview, now we just can't click here. Okay, it just doesn't work. And that's the idea. Great. Okay. Now the next thing we want to do is to start coding this in our coffee file. So here we have the validations. So the first one is if password input is longer than 6 characters, and if for the confirm password, if both values match. Okay, so we want to abstract these validations so we can check if they are passing and then enable or disable the button. So I'm going to create right here two functions. First one is going to be called is password valid. So so here what I'm going to do is copy this here, okay, and I'm going to replace this part here into this. Don't forget the parentheses, right? And next I want to abstract this part into another function. So we can say is or are passwords matching. Let me check if I call the same here in the article. Are passwords matching? Yes. Great. Now check. So here I can paste this part and I can replace the new create function with here our passwords matching. Great. Now let's see if it still works. And okay, great, yeah, they still work. Okay, yes, they still are working. So now we have abstracted our validations into two different functions. So the next thing we can do here is basically create another function that will check if they are passing or not. So I'm going to a new function called are all validations passing. Great. Now the next thing it can do is to basically call these functions here and this one. Great. And so if this is true and this one is true, then it's going to return true. In case one of these are failing, return false, then all these will return false. Now with this function I can create a new event function called, let me check, form state event. And that's gonna be the if are all validations passing. Okay, then I want to disable the button. Else, disable. I mean, if all validations are passing, then I want to enable the button. Else, I want to disable. So we can use the attr method on the button. So first of all, let's add an ID to the button. So I have here. So let's add an ID. The ID is gonna be submit. Why we need an ID? Because it would be easier to select it in jQuery from jQuery. I mean. So let's see. I want to select the button, submit, and then I want to say attr, and the property I want to edit is disable, disable it, and its value is going to be true or false depending if this function is passing or not. So if this function returns true, I want to enable the button. So the property must be, if I go here, the property must be false instead. And if any validation is going wrong or are not all validations passing, I want this to be true. So we can just say, for example, not are all validations passing. So in case this returns true, it means all the validations are right. So I want to disable. So I convert this true value to false, and I enable the button. But if this is false, then I convert this to true, and the button will become disabled. Okay, great. Okay, I mean, I don't need this. I don't need this part. We can just leave it like this, because this is going to do all the job. If this is true, then it will be converted to false, and disable is going to be false. And this is false, it will be converted to true, and disable will be true. So this will be enough for now. Now the next thing we can do is basically call this form state event into all the inputs we have with the key up event. So let's call it form state. Form state event, and also here key up form state event. Great. Now we are calling this event function. Let's see if now it works. Let's check it out. Okay. So right now it should be disabled. Yes, and it's disabled. Now let's see if all additions are passing. Now it should be enabled. Great, it is working smoothly, but still there is something we want to improve. Right now, jQuery depends on this value here in the HTML. A better practice is to make jQuery work alone or independently of the HTML. So I'm going to delete this part, so we do not depend of the HTML, and then I want to. Now, right now the button will be enabled by default, but we can call this function just here at the end, and that will be enough for check if all validations are passing each time we reload the page. So it means the button will be disabled. Great. Now let's check again. Submit. Great. Great. Now our jQuery is separated from the HTML. I mean, it does not depend on any value on the HTML. So that's why we remove that disabled property in their input. Okay. Now the second part of the J challenge was to validate the username input, and the validation was that we didn't want this field to be empty. So we just need to check if the length of the characters within this field is greater than 0. Okay, so let's do that as well. So the first thing I want to do is create username input into a jQuery object. Let's save that jQuery object. So if we go here to the ID, it's username. So here it is. Great. Now the next thing, we want to create a new function for the validation of this field. So I'm going to create here. So is username valid, and the only validation I want to do is username input that value that length greater than 0. And next thing I'm going to create an event handler for this field called username event, and here within this function I want to say, let's say f is username valid. Then I want to say, okay, before continue, let's go to the HTML and add a hint. The hint of this field will be this field is required, cannot be empty, for example. And now what I want to do here is just to select it. Let's say if this is valid, so I want to hide the hint. Great. And else username input the next, let's show. The last step I want to do is just to create the event right here. You need to be the jQuery object we want to perform the event is going to be username input, and then we call the focus to check when the field is active, and we will call this username event, and then we call the key up with the username event, and then we call a key up for the form state event. That should be working right now. Let's try again. If I reload here, alright, so I committed a small mistake and was debugging this, and it seems that we committed a spelling mistake. So let's fix it. I said here the username event, I misspelled this show, so that's why it wasn't working. Now, alright, so we can close this, and now it is working. Great. Now what happened if I try to submit this? Okay. Now let's say, so we have this field empty, so we can't submit the form. Okay, it seems we still can't send the form. Okay, so what I missed here, if we go back and we check our validation is passing, we still need to add the username valid function here. Otherwise, it will let us send the form. Right. Now let's reload the page and try again. So this is invalid. I'm going to make password and password confirmation pass. And great, we can submit the form until we enter any quantity of characters. Another spelling mistake here. So sorry for that. Okay. Next. This one. Next. Alright. Now let's see if everything's passing now. So we send here. We still can't submit the form. Now we may enter any kind of characters and now we shall be able to submit the form. And alright, now everything is working as we expect. So that's all. Try again and make sure everything is working as we expect. And of course, if you have any doubt, you can leave it in the comments. Congratulations, now you have all the basics for master or for for yes, for master the jQuery. And the next course we're going to give you the basics of Ajax. It is just asynchronous JavaScript. We're going to learn about APIs and how to communicate with the server from JavaScript or using jQuery and many other things. That is very useful when we want to load content dynamically in our Ruby on Rails applications. So that will be very useful. As always, I'm Bastian Volandia. Don't forget to follow us and see you the next course. Don't forget to take the J quiz at the end. We have here this J quiz. Make sure you pass it, and once you pass it, drop us a line on Twitter to our at Race Karate with the J quiz hashtag. See you the next course, and bye bye.